What's up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing Spiral from the Book of Saw. This movie is co-produced, or I believe co-directed by Chris Rock, who, is primarily a comedian who stays in, comedy movies. So it's really interesting to see himself, dabble into the horror genre. And it's very reminiscent of Jordan Peele, who kind of created Get Out, and it was a massive hit, And after seeing, Spiral from the Book of Saw, I think Chris Rock, was successful in this venture into the horror genre. It paid off. So some of the things I liked about this film are the characters. Chris Rock's character, Detective Zeke Banks, is a very conscientious, and he's like a good cop. He plays a police officer. He's a good cop, and he does the right thing. And I really enjoyed his character. His character is funny, very witty, quick on his feet. Chris Rock brings that energy to his character. A lot of good one-liners, nice comebacks, nice insults. He's a pretty funny character in this film, and I really like the dynamic between his character and the other character, his partner, William Schnack. And his character, he's like the new rookie cop, and I really like that, that mentor-mentee role that both characters had in this film. I think it really paid off, and it was nice to see their chemistry on camera. In addition to that, going away from the characters, the traps. You can't talk about a Saw movie without talking about the traps. The traps in this movie are pretty brutal, and they're pretty grotesque and pretty violent. It's pretty gory. I was actually turning my head away from the screen for a lot of the times we got to see the traps in this film. Compared to the other Saw movies, they're not the most intense or most terrifying traps, but some of them are just straight up inhumane, and some of them don't really seem to be, there's no possibility to escape. It almost seems like some of the traps are just so inhumane, so violent, that there's no real way for them to even escape. So the people who end up in these traps are pretty much screwed. But if I had to rate the traps in this Saw movie, I'll probably give it a solid 8. There were some really good traps in this Saw movie that was on par to the other ones that we've seen before. And oh wait, also in terms of characters, I just forgot, how can I possibly forget, Samuel L. Jackson is also in this film. He plays Chris Rock's character, dad in this film. He's like the police chief, and again, just like Chris Rock, Samuel Jackson brings that humor, and that raunchy humor that we all love from these two comedians and actors. So it's really nice to see him in this film as well. Also, guys, as I was editing, I forgot to say one last thing that I really enjoyed about this film, and it's the social commentary in terms of the police brutality and the system of of silence that a lot of cops have. A lot of bad cops don't get called out by the good cops, and this is a constant system of the good cops kind of remain silent and not out in the bad cops. And the movie really harps on that. How the system is kind of it needs to be reformed, and I think it came out at a perfect time given everything that we've had with increased scrutiny on the police department and their misconducts and wrongdoing. So I really like that focal point of the movie as well. Now, some things that I didn't really like about this film is the fact that this movie harps on the father-son relationship between Chris Rock's character and Samuel L. Jackson's character, and I just don't think it was really there. There was no real relationship there. We just kind of force-fed it. It didn't feel organic or authentic. It just feels artificial. So, the stakes that we're supposed to feel, when things kind of go down to the hammer, it's not really there, because there's no strong foundation that we as the audience have seen for their relationship. We're just kind of told, their backstory and stuff like that, but, we just don't feel the authentic relationship. Also, at times, the movie is a bit corny. They do this really weird camera thing where it's like, Chris Rock's character would be really upset, and then he just kind of looks distorted, really quick cuts, and it looks really corny. It looks like it's coming out of a small budget film that you'll find on Netflix at times. The cinematography there looks really weird, but other than that, if you can get past the cheesy and corny, father-son relationship, that's a really big focal part of this movie, and you look at some of the other elements, such as the good characters, and of course, we're here for the blood and gore, the traps. This is a great Saw movie, guys. I mean, we've had up to 9 Saw movies, guys, and I think the first 2 or first 3 are probably the best. But after seeing Spiral, from the Book of Saw, I would put that up there with some of the best Saw movies that we've had. And again, that's primarily due to Chris Rock doing what Chris Rock does. He did a great job in producing this film. So if I had to rate Spiral from the Book of Saw, I'd probably give this movie a 7 or a 7.5. It's a good time. Definitely one of the better Saw movies out there. And yeah, so that includes my review for this film. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here for more movie reviews in the future. And yeah, thanks again, guys. See you in the next video.